Okay. In previous sessions, we discussed about the Hibernate, basics of Hibernate. Why Hibernate? Why I am going to the Hibernate? That is our first session. The second session is the disadvantages, and the third session is the why persistency. In previous session also I explained something about persistency. Just now I'm again explaining the what the persistency layers and types of persistencies. Okay, the main the main goal of persistency is to save the data. What is the meaning of persistency? To save or store the data, we can call as a persistency. Okay, so persistency means to saving the data in somewhere, saving the data permanently. So if you save the data permanently, that is called persistency. In Java, the data is saved in the form of objects, Java objects, but Java objects is not a permanent storage, it's a temporary storage. Whenever your JVM is on state, that time only your Java objects will live. After, if JVM will shut down, all the Java objects and related data will be lost. So if you want to save the data permanently, then some types of persistency is there. What are the types? The first type is file persistency, means saving the data in the file. And second one is the file, means the flat file, any text file, any file. And second one is saving the data in XML file. There is a difference between saving the data in normal file and saving a data in XML file. There is a difference is there. So I will explain what is the difference if you save the data in a normal file or if you save a data in XML file. I will explain. And there are one more type is there, that is saving the data in database, DB, to saving a data in a database using database using JDBC. By using JDBC, you can save the data. These are the persistence types on Java. By using Java, you can save the data. And DB, save the data in database using ORM tools. So finally, in Java, if you want to save the data permanently, you can use any one way of these four ways. Either you can save the data in a normal file, or you can save the data in a XML file, or you can save the data in a database using JDBC API, or you can save the data in database using ORM tools. Any ORM tool you can use. Now, the disadvantages of file system. If I save the data in files, what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages is the writing and reading operations are very complex, because if you write the data or if you read the data from a file, you need to use java.io packages, you need io classes, you need to use. But there are very complex to read the data and very complex to write the data. Suppose, for example, if I want to write the data, some student information, I want to update the student information, it is saved in some file, text file. So it is very difficult to find corresponding student data and update the data in using Java code. It's very difficult. That is the first disadvantage of files. And the second disadvantage is the files have, there is a no common language, like SQL is in a one query language. There is a no query languages for file to write and read the data. And third one is there is a limitation. The file size will be limited up to 128 MB or 200 MB. Based on your heap size, the file is limited, your Java heap size. So size is also limited in files. There is a limitation for files, is size also one of the limitations. And second one, and next disadvantage of file is security, very less secured. There is no password protection. So security is also a one of the disadvantages of files. So there are the These are the main disadvantages of saving the data in a file. What are the first disadvantage? Writing and reading operations are very complex, and size of the file is increases. We can't, there is a limitations on file size. And security, there is a no security. If you save the data in a file, anyone can see the data. There is a no security like password protection like that, or some, you can assign the grant, you can assign the some read only operation, you can't assign the write only operation for particular user. There is no such type of security available for files. So that is the disadvantage of files. And one more disadvantage is there is a no relationship between data and some data, means some parent to data, child to data, you can't mention in a file. So that's why we are next type of persistency is XML persistency. So here also the difficultness is by using XML, almost whatever the file disadvantages, same disadvantages is applicable in XML persistency layer also. Means if you are saving the data in a XML file, the one advantage is also there. What is that advantage? In XML file there is a relation, we can maintain a relationship between parent and child data by using parent tag and parent tags and child, the sub elements, parent element, root element, sub elements, we can maintain the some relationship in XML files. But there is also a limitation called size limitation is also there. The XML file has size limitation and security. These are the limitations to save the data in a XML file. That's why one more persistency is there, that is database persistency. Means you are saving the data in the database in the form of tables, So in database, any database, that any SQL database, you can save the data in the form of tables, row comma values. But through Java, if you want to connect the database, you can connect through JDBC API. So if I use JDBC API, there are advantages are there. Means there is a, if you use database, the advantages is the database contains some common query language like SQL, structured query language. Means if you want to get the data, you can write the queries like select queries. If you want to insert the data, you can directly write the insert queries. Same operation if you do on files, then you need to write lot of Java code. For example, I want to read student to data from database, simply I will write select query. Same thing, if I want to read the same student data from file, I need to write lot of Java code in, if you want to read the data from file. So that is the advantage of database. So, and one more advantage of database is there is a no limit. You can save the data up to 1 lakh rows, 1 crore rows. You can save the data at unlimited. If you increase your hard disk, then you can also increase database size also. But files, there is no thing like that. There is a disadvantages in file system. So one more thing is advantage of database is security is available. Security means there is a protection. Whatever the tables you are created or whatever the data you are saying, nobody can see. If you give the grants, then only the other user can see the data, and you can create the synonyms, you can create the views, so many things you can do. So that is the advantage of database. But if you want to connect the database by using JDBC, some disadvantages are there. These are the disadvantages of JDBC, not database. Database have the only advantages only, but the JDBC have some disadvantages. What are the disadvantages of JDBC? You can't directly save the Java object into the Java object. I have a Java object. I can't save this Java object directly into this table. It is a student table. It is a student object S1, and it is a table of student. So I can't save the data student object directly into the database. So in Java, The student object, if you want to save into the database, what I need to do, I need to use the getter methods of the student object, and I need to write some insert query. So the disadvantage of JDBC is I can't directly insert Java objects into the database. I need to retrieve the data. I need to get the data from objects and save into the some primitive data types, and that primitive data types only I can insert into the database. So that is the disadvantage of JDBC. And one more disadvantage is some boilerplate code, creating the connection, closing the connection, retrieving the result set, and some driver managers create the statement. Some boilerplate code is also there, some duplicate code is we are writing in JDBC. So that is the one more disadvantage. So these disadvantages we are overcome by using ORM tools. ORM tool is nothing but we can directly save the object into the database. Here the saving Java object into the database means we are not saving the address of that object, we are saving the data inside that object. Suppose the student object contains the data of student name, student ID, student marks. So those fields, whatever the data it contains, we are saving the data directly. So that is the advantage of ORM. So in this class what we learned is, first one is types of persistence. There are 4 types of persistency. We can store the data permanently in a file, or in XML file, or in a database. If you want to save the database in Java by using JDBC API, you can save the data, or by using any ORM tool you can also save the data. So what is the better way to save the data? So save the data in the database, you just go to the any ORM tools, not only Hibernate. You can go to the any ORM tools. But the most popular tool available in the market now is Hibernate. Hibernate is the best popular tool among the all ORM tools. In next session, we will discuss about what is ORM tool and what are the types of ORM tools available in the market, and which ORM tool is most preferable, why that ORM tool is most preferable among the remaining ORM tools. That type of discussion we will continue in the next session. Okay, thank you.